Everyone alive. Hello, everyone. My microphone was muted. I was talking to myself. Welcome again to the Black Man Broadcast. I'm your host, Tell a Friend to Tell a Friend. We're live. I'm Brother Raven, also known as Rap Raven. We are on the 220 episode. We are actually dead on 10, so that's good. We're on time. But tell a friend, we're live. So make sure everyone knows and all that good stuff. But if not, you can always catch the recorded stuff as you're going to hear when it gets uploaded. So where are we? Let's go for how we start. So don't forget about the Black Man Broadcast. Instagram, here it is. I'm just going to promote it as I always do every week. I do such a great job of promoting this. Yes, I do. Put that there. Save. Don't forget to follow if you don't follow already, but I'm sure you do. All right. So we start as we always start. Let's shut that door. We talk about the triple tragedies. What is that, I hear you say? Well, I'll tell you. It's white supremacy, anti-black racism, and the Ma'afa. These are three very big, terrible things that go on or have gone on or continue to go on. And because of those two things, it creates the double dilemma, which is we are despised and we're disorganized. You're going to hear me say this a lot throughout my debate. The double dilemma, it is a terrible thing, but it's part of the process of why there's challenges. And but we could just sulk about it and moan, or we could try to find a solution, which is what this broadcast is about. The single solution is the Black Betterment lifestyle. That's Black people continuously helping Black people on Black issues, you see. And that's what this entire broadcast is about. If you didn't know, now you know. That's what we do every week with 220 episodes. We promote the lifestyle of Black Betterment, and we push it as a solution to the challenges that Black people go through and have gone through for many, many years. Oh, yeah. Fantastic. So there you go. So let's go to we focus on Black families, Black economics, and Black health, and that's why sometimes it feels like we're repeating ourselves. But everything we talk about is connected to those three things: the Malengo or the triple triumph. You see, those three things. All right. Where are we? So we said that the link. I think the link's actually stuck at the top of the. It should be. And guests are welcome to jump in as we discuss topics and issues. All we ask is that you practice discipline, dedication, dignity, and discernment. The 4D values when you jump in. It just makes finding solutions that a little bit more easier. So please do that if you can. But like I said, this forum or this podcast, it's for any Black person really who wants to be constructive to jump in, give their opinion. I'm merely the host, and I'm just here to just govern and ref and also promote Black women. But technically, this is an open show for any Black person who wants to be constructive and find solutions. Try not to use derogatory language if possible. We've got some on the list, to your left. And the more constructive, descriptive languages to your right. It's more descriptive than it's constructive. So don't forget that. All right. So what's today's topics? Embolden anti-Black racism through interracial dating. Oh, sounds very tongue twister. We discuss how Black men's interracial dating practices emboldens their lovers' vitriol towards Black women. Oh, sounds strong, guys. Yeah, so we saw a video. We'll probably tackle that topic last, maybe first. We'll see. We'll see. And pity versus patronization. That's that right? I think they say patronization in other places, but patronization. We discuss if pity or patronization is a better strategy to demonstrate the collective inadequacies of the UK black men. Oh, another tongue twister there. All right, cool. So very good stuff. But so these are two topics we're going to cover today. We'll probably go for an hour or so or less. And if people jump in and want to talk, we'll go on for another hour or longer, depending. But it tends to be an hour show that goes on for more if more people want to talk, because it's about you guys. It's about the community, not about me. I don't need to sleep or anything like that. No. Right. So what we're going to do is let me find. So as we tend to start, as we know the two topics we're going to jump to, but we're going to go through this a random video that comes over social media. Let's see if I can find it. And we'll just talk the black bear perspective of videos that I've seen as I was scrolling the internet. So I will start with. What I'm going to try to do is I will start with some master teachers and ancestors and people who've done very constructive things in the bygone age or before. And we want to get in the habit of showing, continually circulating these videos and just, make sure the knowledge spreads. So let's have a sneak peek. We'll have a take.
To wait for the answer.
Brother Amos Wilson.
In the way that they too wait for the answer. I think that we've been misled by our leadership, for instance, that think that we can consume our way into equality and sees equality as an equality of materials. So if I have the same car as a white person, if I have the same house as a white person, a similar job, then I'm equal. But you cannot consume yourself into equality. You must produce yourself into equality, and you move into equality and beyond by productive thinking. Because as long as you're consuming knowledge or you're consuming materials, the guy who is giving it to you or selling it to you is producing at the same time, which means that you never catch up with him because he's always 2 or 3 steps ahead of you. To a good extent, many of our students go into schools, college as well as secondary levels, consuming, and their minds are not being developed to produce the true means by which they will accomplish equality. Everything else is sham.
Just at a personal note, when I was going to school, okay, at an illustrious college in this area, I found many of the European philosophies, concepts, etc., to be totally irrelevant to my position in the world. And in my effort to come up with some kind of Afrocentric view, that I was stifled.
You're one black man who went to a good, essentially white high school in the city of New York.
That's
you
correct.
Obviously had had a good education.
That's...
A good many of the people who work with you here in SNCC can say the same thing.
And we're saying that...
And you're a black man who came from a New York ghetto.
And we're saying that there's a system that allows for 1 or 2 black people to get out. And that's the rationale for keeping other black people down.
And it has nothing to do with the unwillingness or inability of the Negro to help himself and to work hard.
Think you know Black history?
Don't forget to follow Black History Unlocked there. Excellent factual video there. But yeah, so you see the first video at least was talking about you can't consume yourself out of, what was the quote? Can't consume yourself out of into equality. That's it. You cannot consume yourself into equality. You must produce yourself into equality. That's good. So we're highlighting the importance of ownership, development, production, and that's a kind of good thing we want to get the youth into and ourselves. Rather than always waiting for others or buying from, we want to start producing. And then when we start doing that, we can do the whole support, the economics and the networking and stuff. But just a production mindset, very important. So we got the brother there. I always need to have that reminder. Oops, Daisy, where's the... I hope I don't get rid of it. I did get rid of it. Shame on me. So another, what is that? Cancel. Let's go to the next video. Don't forget, tell a friend we're live. Tell your friends we're helping black people here. That's what we're doing. Oh, yeah. What's the next one? Let's look at, it's from business to business. Let's see this one.
a black president. We need black capitalists. We need black Bill Gates. We need folks who run companies that have 50 employees, 100 employees, 1,000 employees, 10,000 employees. We need companies that are the CEOs who are founding companies that are employing, 10,000 people, creating 200 millionaires, multimillionaires, and those folks are doing philanthropy in their own communities. This group was primarily mainstream, giving back to themselves or to a cause that they support, and that again is all good. There's nothing negative here. But I couldn't help but think how healthy the black community or the Latino community or whatever community you're concerned about would be. How many problems could we solve if we weren't just relying on the government, or weren't just relying on the charity of rappers, or all good by the way, or sports figures. But if we had a business crew like this, folks have a business crew who just show up and show out by donating money on the regular every week, twice a week, right, at fundraisers. Think how many problems in our communities we could solve if we had a stakeholder class, a business class, and we weren't begging all the time and doing GoFundMe campaigns to bury our people. But we were leaning into these problems, these social problems, with cash, writing checks, using our stock proceeds, our real estate equity. Okay, do you get it? I hope you get it. Normally I'm good at communicating stuff, but this was a big one. We need to have a book that is thick like this with donors and sponsors, page after page after page of companies that are employing people, building wealth, and giving back. This is John O'Brien. This is a civil rights movement. It's time for and giving back. This is John O'Brien.
John O'Brien, is it the civil?
The civil rights movement.
The civil rights movement. So good with that, bro. This came up on my feed. Yes, of course. Yeah, generally you want to have that. You want to have successful businessmen hiring other people, doing their sponsorships or funding and all that good stuff. Basics really, but basics we're not doing. So look at the brother there, bring that up. Oh yeah. All right, what's next? Let's go to Sister Welsing. Always important to get Sister Welsing in. Let's get 2 videos from the sister.
Dismissed from Howard, fired from Howard in June 1975. In November 1974, while still at Howard, I heard a rumor that I was going to be blocked from promotion and tenure because of my views, not because of my academic work. And I went immediately to the Dean of the College of Medicine, Dr. Marion Mann, and I asked him, I said, Dr. Mann, I hear that I am going to be blocked from promotion and tenure because of my views. And Dr. Mann responded, to be frank with you, Dr. Welsing, this paper that you wrote, and I said, the Crest Theory of Color Confrontation, he said yes. He went on to say that it did not make sense for me to say that white people were envious of black people because white people lack skin pigmentation. And we went on from that point. But let me make one correction. My theory does not say that whites are inferior to blacks. I don't say that. I say that whites feel that they are inferior because they cannot produce skin pigmentation and because their status as, I say, a variant of albinism is genetic recessive to blacks, and they can be genetically annihilated by non-white people, that this is what causes that sense of inadequacy, that they have built a total behavioral system that is a compensation. White supremacy is a compensation for a sense of white genetic inadequacy.
Big up Francis Chris Ralston. Very important system, one of the most important. And given frameworks and theories and hypotheses to why people do what they do, and making it make sense in some form of logic is very important. And very important system there. Go get a book, the ISIS papers. Let me open a video. This is part 2. One of the things the ancestor. Hold on. Let's see what she says there. Ta-da!
Name calling one another, stop cursing one another, stop gossiping about one another, stop squabbling with one another, stop being discourteous and disrespectful to one another, stop fighting one another, stop killing one another, stop using and selling drugs to one another, stop throwing down trash where black people have to live, work, and play. Did I say stop stealing, stop robbing? Now, as I said, the pressure of the white supremacy dynamic that forces black people to think negatively about themselves, set up negative environmental conditions, will produce these negative behaviors. You see, but that's just like somebody putting you in check from the other side of the board. So you have to learn the tactics and strategies, the behavioral tactic and strategies. Do you see that will stop that from happening? So you're constantly on the offensive and the defense about preserving or evolving and developing a very positive image and concept of self. That's key.
Once again, important there. The code of conduct, stop mistreating, harming, and destroying black people. But it's very hard for many because, like I said, we seem to be conditioned with a self-sabotage switch that goes off anytime black people around each other or sees progress in so many of the brown sisters. That's how they think, and we want to acknowledge it and try to correct it. You see, oh yeah. Well, is there anything else I want to jump before we start the show? There's a whole lot of stuff here to this. Now we're a bit more negative stuff. Oh my gosh, what was that? Should I play that? No, I'll play it a bit. Let's see what else we got. I don't know. Oh yeah, just let me. What happened was last week I was playing some videos, and then the songs and the videos got the video shut down. When I looked at my data, there's like been tons of videos in the past that's been shut down or blocked or whatever it is. I didn't even know. It's only because I was told. But yeah, that's it. So I've got to be careful because sometimes the videos have music. Now this has got music in it, but it's a gentleman's music. I saw this right. So I think I've seen memes of this guy. I don't know who he is. If he's an upcoming rapper, or is he just like a troll rapper or whatever? But yeah, this is. I was just saying like the verse of what he said. I thought okay. So let's see if you can hear his verse. This is a rapper, and I think he might be some guy who's has challenges with weight as well as maybe taking drugs or something. I could be wrong. Let me stop that, but let's see.
Niggas hate on me cause I'm a fat nigger. I don't give a fuck cause I'm a bitch getter. Got a white bitch, she a wrist slitter. Got Jewish money, nigga, fuck it. Don't let Seth Tobin be your babysitter. Cause I heard that nigga was a kid diddler. Yeah, I heard that nigga was a pedophile.
Yes, I don't really play music when I try to dissect it, but what does this guy say? Hold on.
Me cause I'm a fat nigger.
So he calls himself a fat N-word, which is, okay, you can do that, self-deprecating and stuff. But then,
I'm a bitch getter.
obviously, derogatory term to women, but let's go.
White bitch, she a
and he's bragging that he's got a white woman. True or not, I don't know, but it's bravado of rap, I guess.
I got Jewish money, nigga.
He's got Jewish money, not African money or black money, but Jewish money.
Don't let Seth Tobin be your baby.
Yeah, so I just thought, I mean, the funny thing is, like, I generally don't listen to rapping, and obviously this is probably not Silence, up and coming, or just a troll rapper, I don't know. But I stopped listening I only listen to underground hip hop and stuff, but generally, and stuff from the 90s. But yeah, it just seems like, at this point, this is just, I guess this is a cry for help, really. But maybe people don't know it's a cry for help. But yeah, I just thought that was interesting. Don't know who this person is. Maybe you guys know him. I was like, okay, there you go. So work needs to be done about cleaning up music and get it more constructive. But yeah, thought that was interesting. Yeah, terrible way. What else we got? Let's see. Pickup artist, self-hate rap. They took. Let's say this was an interesting story about the Black Aboriginals. We covered it a few weeks back. Let's hear it again.
Away from my mother, stole me away from my mother, and didn't even tell me anything about what I was. And they took me into a home and sent me away to white people to make me a servant. And that's what I was. I was a servant to them. They didn't speak to us, they had nothing to do with us. We just worked all day. I've had plenty of time to think what they did to us, especially Neville.
Orba Octavius Neville, Mr. Neville. They called him the Chief Protector of Aborigines, and he had lots of protecting in mind. He took those kids away from their families and put them in a settlement hundreds of miles away, like at Magumba where Auntie Eileen was. They were like butterflies in a glass box, pinned down and labelled.
We weren't called Australians then, we were only called full-blood or natives, We had no title, nobody wanted us because we were in between. We were half-caste, and that's how they branded us. Half-caste, quarter-caste, quadroon, and that's the way it was.
His plan was to break us all up and make us like white fellas, but really we just ended up working for him.
Right, so this is basically in Australia. These were the children who had one Aboriginal parent, one European parent, and what they would do is they would take away them from the Aboriginal community and put them into white houses for adoption or something like that, and then or just put them up to work in the houses of other Australians. And obviously they weren't best pleased as no one would be, but this was the idea was for them to like forget about being Aboriginal and the culture, and marry other Europeans maybe, and then eventually become white. So this was something that we saw the same behavior in the Native Americans in America and Canada. They did that as well over there, and obviously we kind of see a similar behavior in Brazil, a bit different though. But yeah, so this kind of like breeding and biologically and psychologically making you become European. Nowadays, people do it willingly, but back then it was more of a force thing. What else did we see? Let's see. Not that one. Let's see. There's anything else? There. What time? 2:20. Okay. Maybe I should bring that up. Okay. I saw this ad for this thing. It's let me just stop it. Over. So obviously, you know, I'm always interested in Caribbean stuff, and I saw this. My friend mentioned it to me, so I came across it. But it's a BBC drama written by a Nigerian woman. Well, she's Nigerian and English. She's got, I think, English parent and Nigerian parent. I think she ran. I think someone else directed it or whatever. But it's about old homosexual men in the Caribbean. Play a show or so. I've never. It's very interesting. You know, it wasn't written by Caribbean people at all, and I don't know how if there was a cry for this type of content. But this is what they were showing. I don't know.
You is a homosexual, Barry. I ain't no homosexual. I am a bisexual. They think they know me. Father of Donna and Maxine, husband of Carmel. What happened to us, Barry? 50 years, living a double life. You are a cheat, Barry. But not in the way that she think.
Right, yeah, so I don't know what that's about. It's called Mr. Loverman. It's a BBC production. I don't think any Caribbean people, apart from acting it, of course, to give it an authentic look. But it's based on a book. I'm not sure who wrote the book. Let me see, Let me just check and see who wrote it. Mr. Loverman book. Let's see if it might be Mr. Loverman. The book. Here we go. Novel. The book was written by a British Nigerian author. Interesting. There you go. I mean, it'd be interesting to ask her, is there any kind of like Nigerian homosexual stories like that? Don't know. But yeah, she wrote a book about Mr. Betterment, and BBC obviously funded it. Interesting. Now, you know, obviously my friends obviously Caribbean, and African, but Caribbean. They were like, this is interesting. There's a lot of things that they could have covered that we really would like to see from the BBC, but Mr. Loverman is what they're gonna put out there. So yeah, so I haven't seen it, so I don't know, but I know they seem to play in a good evening. Big up Blockbuster, Brother Dominic, very important contributor. I don't know. I suspect it's about a man who was homosexual and married a sister or you know, lady after 50 years or something. Sorry. Some of these things are a bit much for me. It's a bit late for me to be seeing this kind of stuff. But cool. All right. All right. So there you go. So Mr. Loverman. Okay. So we'll be following that to see what that's about. Mr. Loverman. All right. Acting while there's some good acting stuff to this one. I've got is there any I can play? Mr. Loverman. Like stand up. Speaking of interesting. Speaking of Aborigines forcing to marry Europeans with them, I also saw
probably
maybe she never knew had a black parent, and what I was realizing, the only reason I was watching it is every one of them have married Europeans.
Was black. Rapper Logic dad black, dressed like Drake dad right there. Slash from the Guns N' Roses mom is black. You always could tell because he looked like he had a perm all the time. Sheeta Jones from The Office. Daddy was the late great Quincy Jones.
We covered them last week. Most of his children, if not all, are married to Europeans, and unfortunately, they inherited 80% of 80 million when he died. But that that's going back into the European community.
Apple baby. When Fast and Furious first came out, I was like, who is this dude with the deep voice? Beige as hell. Vin Diesel black. And The Rock named after his dad, Rocky Johnson, who was black. Thought he was just Samoan. And Singer Halsey dad is black. Looked like Suge Knight.
There you go. So that was your question. Yes, Dominic, Mr. Loveman is about the same gender-loving Caribbean men. It was written by a Nigerian and English person. And it's not something I've seen too many Caribbeans talk about or cover. I did wonder the sister who wrote it from Nigeria, was there any Nigerian equivalent and how the Nigerians would react to that? But she's creative writer. She wrote a story. All right. It might be based on some kind of historical stuff. I don't know. But there you go. All right. Let's what else we got? So I think that might be. I got a few others, but I can't be asked to do them. I mean, I was going to explain. Well, maybe because last week we were talking about the manosphere and what it is, and the different kind of groups that's in there. I was just going to show that this came up today. I saw this. So basically one of the groups that's in the manosphere is the pickup artist, and I think that's what they call themselves. I wrote it down. Let me see. The pickup artist, the PUA. There you go. I wrote it down. And so what they do is they try to help men who struggle to find women to have women. I guess it's more of, I don't think it's necessarily for marriage and wife. It's more so to for just ego and that kind of stuff. But this guy seemed to be a new up and coming guy who wanted to be a pickup artist, and he's making these adverts and stuff. So he made this ad to help the guys find women. Whatever.
Zillion 10 off of Instagram as a
And what they do as well, they rate women by out of 10. So they just say she's a 10 and he's a 1. So this is very kind of numbers based and transactional, I guess, to an extent.
Completely average looking guy who's even losing his hair. Step 1.
So I think he's shown that he's an average guy, and even he can do it, you can do it. And there's a whole lot of manosphere men who flock towards him. And you see in the background, he's obviously talking to other manosphere people because a lot of controversy and have anti-black hate, unfortunately, in a lot of their content.
Created a Instagram account that shows a fun, interesting, luxurious, and above all, high status lifestyle.
What stuff for me is when he said this next
Step 2, I contacted an absolutely absurd amount of women on Instagram until I found one that thinks balding gingers with skinny arms are sexy. Step 3, I automated the entire thing. This was way too much volume for me to handle, so I hired a virtual assistant, trained him up, and now he knows exactly what type of girls I like, where to find them, and what to message them. Comment the word Instagram if you want to know exactly how I did.
So this is one video, and this was the other one that I think I remember. So this is what they call pickup artists. He's teaching a lot of the men who can't find men stuff. And was it this one or was it this one? I mean, this one. Oh, this one I saw. Yeah, this one I saw.
I went from.
So if we start, so the first picture is him when he was younger and more nerdy with a very dark-skinned black woman. And let's see what he said.
Here's how I went from dating 6s to dating some serious solid 9s and even the occasional 10. So the biggest change.
So obviously he's used a dark-skinned sister as what was a 6, which is very interesting.
That I made from leveling up from dating mid chicks to dating the top level girls was I stopped meeting these women at bars, nightclubs, the streets, etc., and instead focused on meeting them on Instagram. That's right. Not on dating apps, but on Instagram. The reason why IG is so powerful is because the girls are, number one, let's be honest, they're generally hotter than the girls on dating apps. There's a lot more volume. And here's the big one. You can use video content, not just photos, but video content to attract them and use your personality rather than just relying on your looks. So this was the light bulb.
So this guy, yeah, he paid for his ad. He's got hardly any followers and he's probably just relatively new. Or maybe he's bigger on TikTok or something. I don't know. But yeah, I just thought this. So those who from the Manosphere talk last week, we were trying to explain the different types of men's right activists, incels, men going their own way, and pickup artists and fathers right. This is part of this is what a lot of them do. They try to find out how to be around women. That's if they're struggling. So anyway, there's random stuff. But now we're going to go to the show, Leo. So that's enough of this guy and these kind of things that the men are doing. And we showed a video last week of one of the Manosphere, a UK guy, who was very angry towards black women, and we covered him. And we always invite him back to talk, if ever. But yeah, anyway, so let's actually now go through the actual topic, which is share screen. Where are you? Window. There we go. What are we dealing with? Which one should we start with? Embolden anti-racism through interracial dating, pity versus. Well, let's so basically here's what. Let's start with the emboldened video. So you've all probably seen this of an Arab woman going off on one trying to. Did I even date? Not date. Did I even create? Did I even date it? Because if I haven't dated it, I won't find it. Or did I download it in the first place? I've got this one, so I'll use this one. Yeah. So hopefully, did I not? I've got this one. Let's see. So basically, this one was responding to what the lady says. So that should give us a rough gist.
Did anybody see that girl's rant on Shadeborough about black women and their hair? And she's telling us this and she's telling us that. And I'm looking.
I think what happened is that one must have taken it down. That's why I couldn't go. But I have got the response to it.
And then I'm like, well, who asked you? Who asked you for your opinion? Because I don't see you having 4A, 4B, or 4 Bumberclot C type of hair to be coming and telling us anything. Because if you're talking about low blood clot self-esteem, let's include everyone. Let's include the women that wear makeup. Let's include the women that have tracks in their hair. Let's include women that get their bodies augmentated to have fake tits and fake ass. Let's include that. Let's include the that inject their lips and inject their cheeks with fillers. Let's include, we can all do this. You understand? What you need to do is come out of black women's business. That's what you need to be doing. Because...
Let's get part 2. See if I'm going to find the original video as well. I don't know if I download it. I would hate to.
Oh, you wear wigs and you wear wigs and this, that, and la, 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 la. At the end of the day, it's my business what I wear. It's my business what I put on my head. The same as if it's my business if I go natural. The same as if it's my business if I wear a wig. Who gives a... You people seem to think that we want to emulate white women. We actually don't. Wigs and hair have now become an art form. How many blood clot times do I need to tell you? And we shouldn't even be explaining ourselves to mother like you. Because we really don't give a... If I want to wear blonde, black or blue, what the has it got to do with you?
I would recommend the sisters calm down when talking to these people. Don't let them trigger you.
Because when we had to cover our hair to get jobs because it offended white people, where the were you? When we had to get a law made because we were discriminated against because of our hair, where the were you?
Let's get the last one, then I'll chime in. But I don't know if we're going to find the original. The original was quite triggering to see the woman go for one, but the original got a second phone.
Let me tell you something. I don't need to be told that I'm beautiful. I know I'm beautiful. You understand? No matter what the I wear. And just because you're with a black man, it doesn't give you the right to start telling black women what they should and shouldn't do. You people get too comfortable, you understand? So unless you want us to go band for band, I suggest you come in, sit down, shut the up and learn something from black women. Do that.
Let me see. I'm just seeing if they've removed it from... I'm just checking. I've got that one, but I don't have the... Maybe you guys have seen it. Dun, dun, dun. This is the woman. Oh, you can see her there. She's there. There's a picture of the woman there. So I think what is an Arab woman who wears an Afro wig or something like that. I don't know. And but she's dating a black man, and I think that's where it comes from. And that's what we're saying, that unfortunately, a lot of these brothers, when they date some of these non-black women, they within the minds of these black women, they, you know, it gives them, it emboldens them to like try to chime in. And I think what the woman was passively aggressively, or even just aggressively, trying to say, "Oh, you black women are beautiful. You don't need to wear wigs," or something like that. But it was a bad faith argument and a backhanded compliment, even if it was that at all. And it was very triggering. But what I was saying is, don't rise to that. But you do see a lot of these kind of non-black women. You usually find them European, but also Arab and that kind of thing. And they use their close proximity to black men to try to shun black women, and they tap into this kind of age-old war of the hair business and hair industry, and you know, the choices that women make in the salon, and you know, they try to connect it to, oh well, you know, you're getting this hairstyle, and you know, this hairstyle is not for Africans or black people, whatever. But you should love your own beautiful hair. Once again, it's a backhanded compliment. But it's a shame I don't actually have the video. They've actually taken it down, it looks like, or whoever I got it from. I have no idea what this woman's name is. Maybe if I read the thing, I can get a name of this woman. What is her name? TikToker Elaine the Pain didn't hold back. She thought about a viral video of a woman. I just called her a woman, so just call her a woman. You won't be able to find a person such that name. Actually, I don't think she's popular enough for me to be able to find a good video. Oh well, that's that. You live and you learn. You learn and you live. I did have it at one point. Cool, but yeah, so let's know your thoughts on that. But what I would suggest to sisters, don't be triggered by a lot of these people who try to use some of these high anxiety topics to get clickbait or to shun or shame people in the community. It's not worth it. It's a strategy they do, and unfortunately, they get emboldened because unsynchronized black men pick them for their wives or their girlfriends or whatever. Never good. Never good. So anyway, that's what. So speaking of black men not making the right choices, we then go to the next. We segue into the next topic, which is, let me get rid of that. Pity versus patronization, and we discussed the pity or patronization is better strategy to demonstrate the collective inadequacies of UK black men. So once again, I try not to focus too much on the whole, you know, dating scene, but I think because the algorithm's so high at the moment, I keep getting drawn in. And you know, it's going. So let's see. Where should we start? So what did I say? I think my interest now. First of all, okay. So let me start by showing this. This is actually sister at the moment. So this video was flown. This is Serena Williams, I believe, tennis player. And this was flown around, and I don't know if she's on something, retired. And obviously, she was very strong, dark skin, very very powerful looking sister, great achievement. You know, very, very radiant. I think as time has gone by, she's now wearing more European style color hair and stuff, mixed with either high makeup or maybe lack of melanin or something, or maybe something, maybe bleaching. Or I don't like to throw at people without knowing. And she's looking quite drained. And a European, I think that's her husband, or I don't think that. I assume that's. But I think she's married to a European. Whether that's him or not, I'm not too sure. But this was circulating.
Is it that we want to sleep with them and live with them and roll with them? Why is it we just forget all of the things that they have done to our grandparents and our great-grandparents and the things they're doing to us right now and the things they're going to do to us in the future? You see, why do we do that, you see? Why do we want hair like them? Why do we want noses like them? Why do we want skin color like them? Why do we want to talk like them and walk like them and be like them after they have done all of this kind of stuff to us as a people? Why do we love them more than we love ourselves? Have you ever thought about that kind of issue?
I have, yes, I thought about it. It was interesting to see Brother Wilson talking in the background there. And I think that's why I probably speak up a lot about even the whole dating thing. Like, you know, you have the Mind Your Own Business campaign, but I think the question I put forward is, when you have such a history of brutality and then not recovering from it, and then we understand the high maintenance of black people who have a consistent self-hatred either in the back of the mind or the front of the mind, but it is quite high, and it fluctuates between different people. It's hard to believe that that person in the right mind can make a solid decision about self-love or who they love and what they find is their preference, when that's in the back of their mind, and saying that that doesn't actually impact or influence choices made. So, but when I saw this, obviously I was reading some of the comments, and obviously I was asked, brothers and sisters, be merciful to brothers, especially if they're looking like something isn't right, like she doesn't look correct there. Maybe she's tired from running or something.
Why is it that we want to sleep with them and?
But I could be wrong. But in your comments, be nice to the sisters, and I'll say it's better to have be more down the pity alley than the patronization alley. And I think you know, so that segues us into what the other videos I saw, which was similar as but it's gonna go to a UK man thing at the moment. So let me look at some of those. Oh, that was a good one. Well, let's look at this one. Listen.
I really like my snow bunnies white as hell. Like, I want her to be white as fuck. Listen, I don't like the snow bunnies from the hood. The hood snow bunnies, terrible option. I'm not gonna say terrible. They hold it down. They ain't ride or die. I like the snow bunnies that are not ride or die. Like, you have to leave.
There's a dark skin brother there, and he's got his hair in twists, and she's grabbing the hair as a microphone, and he's confessing to her his love for. They call them snow bunnies. It was originally like a term to, I guess, a disparaging term, I would say maybe. But now black men use it as you know, try to reverse it to a term of endearment or something.
Leave me as soon as I fall off. I like that type of snow bunny. I like a snow bunny that I know that if I don't have money or motion, she's gonna leave.
So this is in the States. I don't know where he's from. He might be from there. Maybe he's from somewhere else. But that's where they are. Where are you? Number 2, self-hate 2, self-hate 1, self-hate 3. Yeah, it's similar. I think it's about the same guy.
2 at a time? Damn! Oh my god! He was excited as fuck.
So, if you don't know, he's looked at a black man who's walking with 2 white women, and he's best pleased. And he's like, "Wow, you're with 2 white women." Snow bunnies ignored him, and he can't even concentrate. This is very normal behavior for so many. And obviously, these men haven't been raised in any kind of like a liberation of community building concept. And I assume self-love, to be fair, but I suspect if they were here, they would argue against that. But that's to be expected. Where are we? And so I'm gonna get to the UK now. And well, before we get to UK, let me look at more in the States and around Europe. So the topic is pity versus patronization. We discuss if pity or patronization is the best strategy to demonstrate the collective inadequacy of the UK black men. I haven't forgot about the percentage of black men that are inadequate campaign that I'm still designing. It's just times are hard. I've got a lot of things going on, but I've got to get done. I mean, this will help motivate. Let's look at this. So basically, this is, I think, in Asia maybe, and there's a black man with no shirt on, and Asian women are touching it.
Give me. I want to you.
Woo!
I want to you.
So you know, this is the thing. Being sexual objects, a lot of black men desire it. They like it. It's something that's best pleased to them, especially or more so towards non-black women, white women, Asian women, Latinos, and this kind of stuff.
I want to you. I want to you.
Yeah.
You're so sexy.
Oh shit.
Oh, you're so thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Right, so there you go. This was very important to them to do that. We're going to move to the UK after that. So what I'm concerned with is about how black men talk about relationships. That's important. Who's that? Acting black ball. Where is it? Where is it? That's for self-hate. Yeah, let's look at this. So this I can jump in this one.
To say that black men who marry white women don't love their moms.
Yeah, it's so ridiculous.
So the approach, I think, what you get so many black men, they dismiss every single kind of metric or hypothesis or theory or proven fact about stuff, and no matter what happens, the conclusion is life has no color. Usually, that's what they. But listen to what Brother says.
You know, listen, love is love. You know.
So yeah, so remember, love is love. The way I say is, whenever someone says an ideology that doesn't work in black people's collective best interest, so that's white wealth ideology, and that's what it came about. Just to say that this is the ideology that is made to make white people richer, and it doesn't really correlate with black people getting, recovering from being conquered, finally conquered. And it's important that we understand that black men as a whole have been conquered by white men, and everything we are saying is from that kind of standpoint. The concept of promoting wholesome black families as a start pillar to how you can have a wholesome black community is almost alien, and this is why we're trying to promote black Betterment, just to show the importance of it. Whether you practice or not, that's your own concern. But that's understanding that it should be a kind of golden rule.
Loyalty is hard to find. Trust is hard to find. Love is hard to find. Friendship. And if you find all of those qualities in somebody that's just...
Remember I told you, Shakespeare, he goes down as the greatest, creative writer in English history, so they say. But if you want someone who's more creative, this is to a black man describing why he shouldn't be for black women. You're going to get art upon art. You're going to get double entendre. You're going to get hyperboles, internal rhymes. You're going to get metaphors upon metaphors and similes inside the metaphors. This is what we're dealing with, you see. And that's why we have to kind of help black men and put value in black men loving black women, because black men have been conquered.
Is not the same pigmentation as you. Who gives a fuck what other people think? Life is short, man. Do you? But and I'm all for the love and the celebration of my sisters and my black queens. And I always said, if I ever get married again, who I have my legacy with, a family with, it's going to be a black woman or a Hispanic woman.
I guess 50 points for that.
You know,
I assume that the Hispanic woman is Afro-Hispanic, but probably not.
My one baby mother black, the other Puerto Rican. That's my taste. But if it just so happens to not be a black woman, black women, stop. That's because you don't like your mother.
So the thing is, this is why I say that when it comes to education and understanding, it seems that worldwide black women, for the most part, are more educated and understand how to create black families and the importance of black communities. And I think this is why the hypothesis we push forward, the analysis about black men not recovering from being conquered by white men, it seems to be quite, obviously there's pockets of people who are in a better condition, but generally, at least from a mainstream social standpoint, it seems to be quite widespread. And this is the kind of the normal rate that you might get all across the board, across the nation, across the sea. The lack of importance of black families and how that is the foundation of a black community.
What a ridiculous fucking thing to say. That you don't like your mother just because you choose to procreate and share a...
Well, the thing is, it goes deeper than that. You might like yourself. And this is the analysis with him. I don't know if there's any kind of books the brother has read or anything, but he is a very good comedian and very good in the rap concept.
Legacy with somebody who is not black? That is ridiculous. I don't love my mama? That is the most asinine thing to ever fucking say.
Do you feel that black women give a harder time to black men who date outside the race as opposed to black men giving a hard time to black women who date outside the race?
No, men don't give a fuck what pussy you get, because we know it's pussy.
Forgive the humor. He's a comedian. This is how they speak. It's interesting because we've done a few shows where obviously black men have jumped on and they've been universal lovers and love has no color and white wealth ideology. And it's interesting that they didn't stop and pause and say, even though love has no color and all that good stuff, they feel a way when they see black women with white men, and it actually frustrates many of them. It happened a few weeks ago with one of the guests, and we did a case study a few before about a black man who was with a white woman, but he still is angry at seeing black women with white men. So this is what I'm saying, a nonsensical kind of psychosis that unfortunately our people are in, and that's why we need some kind of trauma healing and some sense-based kind of interactions, But be merciful, because not everyone has been educated in any kind of like liberation of black empowerment or kind of B1 or anything like that. We're just everyday lifers, and when you live every day, things like
roll with it. Why is it we just forget all of the things that they have done to our grandparents and our great-grandparents, and the things they're doing to us right now, and the things they're going to do to us in the future? democracy. Why do we do that?
Let's carry on. We'll carry on. We've got 2 more videos to show on the topic of pity versus patronization. We're dealing with, let's see, what else? We're going to hit the UK in a bit, if not already. So I saw this in the UK. It's a very interesting one.
Like with your parents? My relationship with my dad is more of like the interesting one because he's like a really good man. He hates his blackness like beyond I've ever experienced. So like obviously he experienced bullying to like another level, right? Like in the 70s in London as a full like Nigerian man, like it was bad for him. So for example, my daughter's called Awala, which is like a Nigerian name, but she's even more fair skinned than my son. She could probably pass as a white girl, but my dad was like, you shouldn't have called her Awala because now people are going to know that she's African. For me, my blackness, is something I want to celebrate and like encourage on my kids, and like I want them to at least like have an understanding of it. Whereas I never had that understanding because me and my dad don't.
Big up, Jeff. You feel free to jump in and have a discussion if you like, but tell a friend to follow. We're here to help black people, and everyone is welcome to join in and be constructive.
Don't have that kind of relationship. He didn't really have an understanding of how to be a dad because he never had a dad, you know, and that's something I've only begun to understand since becoming a dad, is that if you don't have that kind of person to learn from when you're super young, like it's tough. And like I wouldn't say I'm the best parent in the world, but I've always grew up with the mentalities I really want to be a fucking good dad because I want to prove that you don't have to have like a super present father figure to actually be a great father. He's the kind of type of person who like will never text you, never in a million years will ask you if you want to like, hang out or do anything. But if you say to him like, do you want to cancel all of your plans and like go and do something with me and the kids, he'll be like, just give me a time and place.
So this is, I don't know much, but this is, I remember them a few years back, Rizzle Kicks or something. So it's 2 guys. I think they both have one black parent. And both of them, it's like a, you know, a twist of a twist, whatever. But obviously this gentleman saying his black father was Nigerian. And because of the bullying and maybe being living in England or whatever it is, he had extreme high levels of self-hatred to his blackness, and he passed that down to his son, maybe in awareness. But then his son's obviously trying to be pro-black Nigerian, not pro-black, but you know, sort of proud of Nigerian culture. Whatever it is. But I strongly suspect, well, I've googled it, he's married a European woman, and obviously because he's married a European woman, the daughter has probably is European in complete phenotype, and this was a relief for the father, the grandfather, but wasn't best pleased that he gave her a Nigerian name because now she won't be able to pass as like a an actual European person because the name might give her away, and obviously the granddad wasn't best pleased, and my interest obviously is the granddad. This is a case study, but it's also the case study of the rapper son, who didn't never thought about the concept of marrying European. I tend to not talk to people with one black parent too much about black grandma stuff because once the process they call it, if you don't know, is if you Google Ham's Redemption Brazil, it breaks it down what it is. Once that process starts, it's hard to try to promote the importance of black love when you have a parent who's from another community and they haven't observed their father doing that. So that kind of that pathway could continue. But it's interesting that he was well aware of their self-hatred of blackness and married a white woman, and the kids are now of a European phenotype, and but still wanted to have them the African culture, that kind of stuff. And I wonder how that actually will treat them and that. Interesting. So yeah, we are now we've got one more video, which is the one that actually kind of motivated the topic really. Because I know some of the gentlemen who are in it. I'm not going to play that one. So I saw this. So this is the last one that we're going to case study.
Do you believe you can represent the black community, be a community leader, and you can have a white partner?
Yes.
Do you think you can also you can speak?
Do you
can
know
speak
why?
Black and sleep white?
I'll tell you
Tell
why.
me why.
Because your relationship can be a representation of you educating and creating a link or bridge of communication with another culture or another race. But you have to do it well. You cannot be somebody that's going to bring another an alien to your community, and then they're not willing to try.
Let me hear that. Go on.
Interesting.
I just feel like nobody ever asks Huey Newton or Malcolm X or Bob Marley.
They're dead, bro.
No, yeah, but no one answers.
lighties,
But no
though.
one questions these people as in how black they are, how they're repping black. No one questions them.
And
they're mixed race. End of story.
So you mean like Bob Marley being or having a white father, but
White
being
father,
such a
yeah.
representation? for
White
community?
father, white partner, mixed race
So
children.
that then justifies the Nava's answer then that where you come from or who you're affiliated with in relation doesn't define you.
Generally,
in
I
your
think
blackness.
the truth is the way that we treat celebrity is from you're talented or you're famous, you can get away with anything. I think they judge different people by different measuring sticks. Unfortunately, it should be like that. If you're black, if you fall under this political title black, and you look in the mirror and you see someone that is black, whoever you sleep with or have in your bed it's not going to change what you see.
Do you know what that is?
Yeah, so I've that's Brother Jedi. I've debated him many times in the Speaker's Corner and on radio shows and stuff. And yeah, so this is the interesting thing. So the question that was pushed forward by the brother was, can you be a black leader? And it's that famous question. So my whole thing is to always demonstrate that black people are collectively inadequate, and that's important. And everything about this interaction was inadequate. And it was, so what they're saying is that the highest echelon of black kind of like community leading stuff, doesn't matter if you marry a black woman or not a black woman or whatever it might be, right? And obviously the answer from the sister who has one black parent and Brother Jedi, who's a very universal lover kind of guy, whatever it is that, no, it's fine. But that shows you the inadequacy of our community, where at the echelon of leadership, you don't need to live by example. You don't need to have self-love or community love. It's not relevant. Love is no color. You can, and you can most definitely be connected to the people group that will not pay you reparations, and you can have a dedicated lifestyle where you're paying for them every single day until you die. And that's important that we demonstrate. And this is what the question is, how inadequate are the black UK men when it comes to understand this concept, where you can't even have an echelon concept where we're the highest of high, where this is like the standard of black empowerment or black love or whatever. That has to then also be delivered out and given out. The funny thing is, obviously, me in my own fashion, I jumped in the comments, and that sister, I've been on shows with her before. We haven't ever spoke directly. She's always been on different panels, but we've been on the same shows. And I think she said, let's see if I can find some of my comments in the comment section. I don't want to jargon. Blah, blah, blah. Let me see. So she said, I think I asked her quick, because she made some comment and I jumped in. I said, and this is why I recommend you brothers always ask these questions, because, and I'm going to just debunk the stuff that they both said, but before I get there, I said, do the Europeans who marry Angolans agree to reparations? Because that sister's from, one of her parents is Angolan. And I assume the other's Portuguese, I don't know, right? And then the ideology is important. Oh no, hold on. And then what did she say to me? And then she said, and that is why y'all are even more ignorant, because you think that white people only exist in Europe. Some of you need to travel more to understand the true fabric of being African and how that is so much bigger than being black. To the point that my white Angolan forefathers fought on the side of liberation movement in Angola. That isn't about being white or black. It's about having comparable ideology, right? So that's the thing. And then I jumped in saying, I'm answering the question, when Angolans marry Portuguese or other white European descendants, do they ask their views on reparations? No answer from that one. And that's what I'm saying. This kind of coalition that we describe about, and that's always, whenever you get these kind of people, and the question is about black liberation and the highest echelon of it, who should be leading and the rule set they have to follow. They have this hold hand coalition. Same thing we saw in the Black Lives Matter kind of stuff, and obviously that was 3 lesbian ladies, or 2 of them married, one of them married to a European woman. So it's like, okay, so so this is the thing. And then also the brother Jedi was saying, oh, no one ever talks to Bob Marley and these guys. the question isn't the legitimacy of the offspring or the children of mixed unions. They're welcome to practice Black Betterment, as we've demonstrated many times. The question is, as a member of the community, what is your commitment? Is your commitment to the Black woman or to the daughter of the white man? And they are talking about leadership. They're not talking about the average everyday person who isn't educated in history. They're talking about leadership. And they're saying, no, it doesn't matter. And what I'm saying is, when you have those rules, when you have that kind of relaxed rule, that's why if you ever have an award show, and the award show is these are the top 8 nominees for best Black man in the UK as it pertains to helping Black people, the 8 will go on stage and they'll all bring 8 white wives. That's what will happen. That's how it tends to happen, without having a rule set or having a further analysis or understanding of the importance of Black love. And I sound like a broken record, but unfortunately, I have to speak truth to power, and that's what it is. If you have to have a consistent concept that works in the collective interest of the people group. And sadly, Black men in the UK are conquered, as all over the world, to be honest. But this is one where, because I'm close to it, I can actually have more of an impact and try to highlight it more so, and hopefully create some kind of domino effect of intelligence, or at least commitment to understanding the importance of Black relationships. I know many people get frustrated by this, but interesting analysis. My job is not to pry into people's lives. I don't like doing that. But I suspect that close proximity to non-Black people is a tremendous motivation for many Black men who speak publicly and Black women. There was a gentleman who was talking about, unfortunately, the reason why so many Black men in the UK will never give up European women is because because they're struggling to find work and this, that, and the other. It allows them to have a house, because usually these women they've inherited houses, or they're more likely to get houses. I think there's one more video as well, which was a similar thing. Let's see. This. Oh, similar. There we go. Listen to this one.
It's about Birmingham, Old Kent Road, all of that. He was in the country. What are you saying, man? I'm gonna stop linking white things in that now. Yeah, see, that's why I love that. You know, what you saying, man? They're gonna cut me with that.
What do you think? Listen, niggas have been doing this thing from early doors. Like what? Like, listen, I'll just be like,
Dr. Umar's got.
I think don't discriminate. I love Black gal. I love white gal. I love all different kind of flavors.
I told you that you're always gonna find Black men poetry. They love all women. They love all that, and you know. I guess the training to give or try to get out there, that the protocol is, can we get Black men to be exclusively complimentary to Black women, where you'd have to always like after the fact go, yeah, I love Black women, I don't love white women, I don't love Asian women. There seems to be a psychosis going on, and I think we've case studied enough, but it's just something that we should be very aware of. And I think, remember that I say the daughter of the white man is one of the greatest weapon used against the Black community, because it seems like there is a dedication to being with her and giving her your wealth. And whether you're talking to the road man, the simp man, the businessman, the football man, at least from a social standpoint or a social media standpoint, they are united on this front. They're united in bigging up the European women.
Flavors, innit? Talk flavors, them, man. You get me? Just because of one man flying the country. But this is the thing, certain niggas will act up, Dr. Uma's around them, and they'll start moving all righteous. And
that's good. That's actually a good thing, that that means in someone's spirit, they understand that their behavior is unacceptable when it comes to, not dedicating time to being, to picking a good, strong Black woman and starting a community and doing your due diligence and being a constructive Black man.
You get what I'm saying? I know there was certain righteous man probably moving righteous around him. You get me? That love
more
kind
than
of
likely.
Yeah, more than likely. So
mine closed doors.
Nah, man. Flavors are gone.
Man, they were born in Europe, man. Some of us were.
Yeah, some of us.
Some of us were.
Yeah. Some of
but
us.
you landed on your feet. When you landed, you understood. You started to get to know like the other races and that in the UK, that UK has to offer, that England has to offer, Vic.
Yeah, come on, you got options. It's a good thing.
That's the funniest thing. That's what I say. Like when I used to chat to one of my cousins back in the day, and he used to say, brother, I was born in Lewisham Hospital, bro. So man, you're seeing bare options. You're seeing bare options around you. So I get it entirely. But yeah, Dr. Umar landed. Dr. Umar, I like what he does in a lot of ways though, bro. Because Black empowerment's important.
Oh no, 100%.
I love important, but
how do you have Black empowerment if you're not empowering your women, if you're not supporting your women, if you're not picking your women. Like I said, and I respect all these brothers, all of them, and I challenge them all. They usually don't want to, and I've known most of them, and they've been around me in Speaker's Corner and some of these podcasts. But this is like like I said, my job is to demonstrate that black men haven't recovered from being conquered by white men collectively, and then try to invite a small amount of black men to work together as like an open door league to promote black betterment. That is the solution to being conquered. Big up brother Umar, because brother Umar's consistency is making black men scared. The reason why these black men are shivering and scared in the UK is because they understand that there is important work that they're neglecting. You see, they understand that the man who benefits from their downfall, you're still funding him via way his daughter. And that's why you'll never hear me say we were kings and queens, even though we were kings and queens. I will always start the conversation as black men haven't recovered from being conquered by white men, because that sets the table nicely. And that allows me to start saying who amongst all you black men are willing to work together to fix this issue. And it's good that brother Umar in the States is find a way to get through by connecting economics to marriage, and also, you know, highlighting some of the past abominations that's happened to black people and who was responsible for that. It's carrying listening.
The way some of these white things are going gym and looking in them legs, Dr. Umar's gonna have to understand the lie.
I saw there was a clip of Dr. Umar drawing the white things number.
So yeah, that's the I get it. Some of these guys are comedy and this kind of stuff. But what I'm saying is that's how. So if you want to know, that's why I promote open door elitism, because a lot of our brothers they will not be able to resist the European woman at all. And then we saw earlier in the last kind of topic where there was an Arab woman who, we never had the video, unfortunately, but this Arab woman who was, it's a shame because it was really quite revealing. But she was with a black man, and that empowered her to try to mock black women about their hair choices and try to disguise it as I'm supporting black women. The reason why the black woman is the most unprotected woman is because the black man is the most conquered man, and that's the science. So if you, sisters, if you want to know why you're not protected, why you feel a certain way, is because the European and the Arabs, but let's say the European, they were successful. They're successful, as in what they wanted to do, they've done. They've created a subservient kind of like a metric where we are culturally creating subservience to all things non-black. You see, and the reason why you will feel that way is because men protect women. You see, so if you ever feel unprotected or undesired, whatever it is because unfortunately European men were successful in conquering black men, and that's the science. Now, what Black Betterment does is it puts self-love. It puts templates, consistencies in. It has models, and it has a consistent framework that allows black people to recover from being conquered. But until we really unravel it, and that's why I challenge any of these fantastic people you see on the internet, all of them, I challenge them all to any kind of constructive debate about the path black people should go down, and especially when it comes to families and marriage and this kind of stuff. And I suspect none of them will run to the hills with it. As when the Umar comes, everyone just changes their tone, right? And unfortunately, last week we saw that incel brother who was making fun of myself and brother Umar. So clearly he sees, he's aware of people who promote. He should be making fun of so much more men. If a brother has hatred towards black love and he can only think of brother Umar and me, that means we don't have enough black men openly speaking about the importance of black love. Like there should be so many black men openly talk about black love that you just can't name all. It'll be overkill, it'll be too much. So that's why, I mean, like I said, I'm dedicated to the most important topics of black people. And unfortunately, I'm concluding that the most important is the black family, and how to protect and create and generational wealth and how that is a pillar of our community. And that's because we're conquered. All right, but that's what it is. You guys have been fantastic. Oh, we got our guest. Let's let me invite the guests in.
Bob Raven, how you doing?
Good to see you again, brother Leon. Welcome back to the Black Band Broadcast. Good to hear your voice.
Thank you.
Excellent. So I'm just gonna. So the topics of today, just for the people who are coming in, are Embolden anti-black racism through interracial dating. We discuss how black men's interracial dating practice emboldens their lovers' vitriol towards black women. And pity versus patronization. We discuss if pity or patronization is a better strategy to demonstrate the collectively inadequacies of the UK black men. So for those who are joining, we watched a few videos. The first one was of a sister responding to a Arab woman or someone from a Middle East or Asian kind of country, that kind of place, who was dating a black man, and because of it, she felt that it was her place to tell black women they should love themselves and stop wearing wigs and this kind of stuff. But she did it in a very patronizing way, and it was more of a backhanded compliment than any kind of beloved thing, and she was passive aggressive. What the analysis we were talking about was this is how dating black women emboldens them to even go and attack black women, and because black men are failing to protect black women at better rates, that's why black women have to defend themselves. So it's that irony kind of thing that we're trying to work on here, fix. And the last thing we just played now was pity versus patronization, where we're showing many men from all over the world, but UK, Canada, England, who are overly trying to either love European women or placing no value in black families as they go on to debate. If we look at one more time here, just to break it down.
Oh, did I came late?
Say again. Did someone speak? Go
Yeah,
ahead,
did I came late?
Well, we started 10, and so yeah. But I mean, the show gets repeated, and the fact is you're here, it doesn't matter. We can always play catch up, whatever. But yeah, we tend to start. So sorry, we start at 10. And then we go for an hour, and then if people jump in and want to talk, we might go for another hour or so. But here we go. So this is a very important video. This is a video of can you be a black leader with a white wife?
Do you believe you can represent the black community, be a community leader, and you can have a white partner?
Yes.
Do you think you can also you can speak black and sleep white?
I'll tell you
Tell me why.
Because your relationship can be a representation of you educating and creating a link or bridge of communication with another.
Just so the brothers and sisters listening, it's very important we understand that we cannot teach white people anything about racism. It is the white people who can teach us about racism because they have mastered the art of racism, and we are the byproducts of racism, even in definition of name, and even from every form of metric has been heavily influenced by European racism. We can't teach them; they have to teach us, and that's the trick that we have. That we feel that in our quest to improve ourselves, we have to teach white people about racism, and this is the challenge that the sister has. This sister, I suspect she's well connected to European people, so she always wants to include them. We wish her well, but I tried to debate the sister, but she isn't really biting. But you can already see a failure in the analysis. I'm always happy to talk to her about this.
The culture or another race, but you have to do it well. You cannot be somebody that's going to bring another an alien to your community, and then they're not willing to try.
Let me hear that. Go on.
Interesting.
I just feel like nobody ever asks Huey Newton or Malcolm X or Bob Marley.
They're dead, bro.
No, yeah, but no one answers.
But
no one questions these people as in how black they are, how they're repping black.
So no one's really. It's once again the brothers' error and judgment. These are the people, and even Malcolm X doesn't really qualify like that. His mother was his mother's mother was unfortunately sexually assaulted by a European man, but I don't think that qualifies for the statement. But I think what he's doing, and what people tend to do, they tend to go to the offspring or the children of mixed unions rather than the fact that if you're a member of the community, we're saying that we're trying to push value in that member of the community marrying another member. You see, and I think that's the best way to pull it when you discuss with people, because they're going to go straight to the achievements of the children and say, well, look, if the children are doing really well and they were pro-black, then what's the issue, whatever, right? So I think that's where you want to go. If you're a member of the community, what do we promote as who members should marry and be with? We strongly recommend that constructive black men find constructive black women. You see, that's what it is. And if you
they have to remember who they you have to remember who they're dating with that outside of race, because, like, you know, a lot of athletes, a lot of black men date outside of race.
Yes.
You know, like when they're gone, you know, who's gonna take their money? It's not gonna be the black family. It's gonna be their family. You know, they're gonna get richer, and then it's like you know, my family's they're gonna be poor. You know what I mean? If I date outside of race, they're gonna get more money than my family.
Very good point. So we covered this last week or the week before, I think, where because unfortunately
Yes.
Quincy Jones passed away, so we tried to use him as a case study to demonstrate how black wealth. So this brother from the 50s, 60s, I believe it was, to the own days, he's only ever married a European woman, and he's had 7 children with them, and all of their children have pretty much ended up with Europeans or alone. And they've all inherited his 80 million, and they're now with Europeans, and the chance are their Europeans will marry other Europeans. So this is what it is, and we saw the same of similar kind of pathology in Michael Jackson. He married 2 European women. It was quite unique, as in one European woman gave him 3 European children, to which they inherited 40% of his wealth, which is quite a lot. And
Kobe Bryant as well.
Yes, Kobe Bryant, another one.
Yeah.
But there's so many to think of. So this is what I'm saying. Like this is and this is why the conversation of loving blackness and what that looks like and making that a concept. Because if you talk to a person, they say, "Well, I don't care if I spend my life making an institution and my great grandkids are European and they marry European. It doesn't bother me." So then this is why we have to understand what being pro-black means. Is about loving yourself, loving your community, and wanting black people to own things to recover from being conquered by non-black people, you see. But it doesn't work that if you have create institutions and they're run by European people that with the black name on it, that doesn't make any sense. That's not really a pro-black concept.
Definitely.
So yeah. So I'm just so family, I'm just looking through who's that? I mean, I've got so many videos from the past, but I won't even upload them. Missy South Africa. That's interesting. Yeah, so where was that? Oh, we go. Jeff, did you want to jump in? I think it's loading up, Jeff. Let me know if you have any problems getting in. I can't add you in yet, but it looks like it's trying to get you in. There you go. Let me get rid of that for family. Very important, like I said, this is the Black Betterment broadcast. So we set aside an hour or so every Friday UK time to find solutions and to promote the lifestyle of Black Betterment. We're joined by Leon and Brother Leon, and we're also joined by Jeff, who's jumping in. But we haven't. They will need to connect their mic cam before you can add them to the stream. So, same, Brother Jeff, you can hear me. You will need to connect a mic to whatever device you're using. If you have a phone that can work that way, if you have a PC with a not that you have to have a video camera, but I think a microphone is important because we want to hear you. So if you can, we'll give you some time to see if you can find them. Oh, here we go, it works. Welcome to the Black Bear broadcast, Jeff. How's it going?
It's going good, man. How's it going?
Very good. Good to hear your voice. I think it's is it your first time on the Black Bear broadcast? Am I correct?
Yes, it is. I just came across it.
Oh, welcome. That's good. Well, it's very good because what we try to do is we try to reach out to brothers and sisters all over the diaspora, just to exchange ideas, trying to find out how there's any challenges or even support. If there's any way we can connect people together to find solutions in areas that black people are most challenging in. But this week we are focusing on. Let me see if I've got the topic. The concepts of like when black men, this happens a lot in the UK, when black men date out into other communities, that sometimes emboldens the women they're dating who are non-black to then try to have some kind of dominance over black women or some kind of stake in black culture or something like that. And that's what we were playing today, some of the videos. I don't know if that's something you've analyzed yourself or something that you've seen before.
Yeah, man. I was maybe like the last 2 or 3 years I've been kind of seeing it in the dynamic, especially over here in the United States, and I didn't know y'all had it like that over there in the UK. And it's just this I said like a tug of war between the black man and the black woman. It's like, we're at each other's neck, and black men need to do this and step up and do this and that, and black women need to do this and that. And it's like, as you look around with the other cultures, you don't hear them publicly. I'm pretty sure they have the same issues, but you don't hear them publicly going on either social media platforms or just putting it out there like our struggles and what we need to do and things of that nature. So just to come across your channel and see, wow, this happening in the UK as well. So
well, the thing is, you go ahead, brother Leo. Say what
No, sorry. Yeah, no, I'm a bit surprised that the war as well against black man and black woman, and maybe it's still gone on to this day, to generations. Like even, slavery. If that's happened from that beginning, and then now the slave plantation. It's like it's going on. It's just slavery. It's just war against black man and black woman. It's just crazy. I'm a bit surprised.
Yeah. So what it is so we use certain terms here that some people might find shocking, but something we say is, unfortunately, black men haven't recovered from being conquered by white men, and because of that, most things that you would see should be basic and straightforward. There's much challenges. So how black men interact with black women seem to be upon that. So basically, you have scenarios where there might be an expectation that men provide and protect, but by being in a system or being not inheriting any certain things, black have so much more challenges. So they have to do twice as much with half as what everyone else is. So that can cause issues, and then there might be an expectation that black men have to do less, and expect the black woman to be accepting of that, and maybe she has been for a certain amount of time, but it hasn't been really working out. And then there's also black men who are just completely giving up, and they're not really contributing or really doing anything, and that we highlight that as well. But I think what we try to do is we try to have a constructive conversation between black men and black women. Sometimes we let the women come and they speak for a few hours, a few minutes, and then we try to really go through, and we have strategies. One strategy we have here is I mainly will talk about the issue of black men more so than black women. And while we let black women talk to black women, so the strategy is black men correct black men, and then black women correct black women, and then we kind of have a meeting where we discuss our progression on that. That's because there's so much anxiety around that kind of topic.
It is, and if you ever wondered, like, but at the end of these discussions or whatever, it's like we never come to a common ground or a solution. It's always you always leave those type of conversations. From what I've seen, it's like, well, when it's all over, well, I'm still standing on my ideas, and the women gonna still stand on their ideas, and like we never come together, like how we do this moving forward.
I'm glad you said that. So the idea of the Black Band broadcast is a solution based. So let me break down for those who are joining this for the first time. How we start this show, let me go to number one, is we break it down like so. So we say that unfortunately we highlight that black people have gone through the triple tragedies, which are white supremacy, which is the belief that white people are superior to those of other races and thus should dominate them, anti-black racism, prejudice, hostility, discrimination, or racism towards black people of cultures of Africa and African diaspora and black culture worldwide, and the Martha, kidnapping, genocide, segregation, enslavement, colonization, brainwashing, and sabotage. That's the Martha, right? Those three major horrible things has contributed to something that we call the double dilemma, which is that we are despised and we're disorganized. So these are two very powerful things working in tandem constantly. And because of that means we're going to struggle to understand black women, we're going to struggle to understand black men, we're going to struggle to have economics, we're going to struggle to have self-love, love our own imagery, and because these two things are constantly working in tandem. So one thing we're saying is the only solution might be a lifestyle. So something that is almost like a cultural normative thing where baked within how we live is self-love, self-economics, and all this kind of stuff that is necessary. And we are forming that lifestyle on this show. So we promote it, we find ways of how it works, and we give diagrams and symbols of what that looks like, this lifestyle. So continuously doing this lifestyle is the solution. So every challenge we go through, we go, okay, if black men and black women are not talking, what has to be done to make that work? And that's why we come to the show. So right now, one of the things that we're promoting is something called Malengo, which means goals. So if you look at if we look at things like veganism, veganism is a lifestyle where people don't eat meat, right? But it doesn't have any leaders, and it doesn't have any kind of like it has spokesmen, but it doesn't really lead of veganism. But yet you find that in restaurants that have veganism, you find that companies have to uphold to veganist rules and they have to have variants and stuff. That's because they're organized and they practice this lifestyle of veganism. So the idea is to have a lifestyle of black betterment. But one of the things is like, can we have like consistent goals? So one of the goals is what we call Malengo, which is black families, black economics, and black health. So from birth to bereavement, if we can try to always have a gold, silver, bronze kind of approach to these three things. So, for example, if you help your parents and siblings in life and promote black betterment to them, that means you're creating a vibrant black families. So that might be like a bronze kind of behavior to do. If you were to promote black love and support the community in achieving this, that's silver. If you're to marry and produce a constructive black family, that's a gold. So we understand the concept of black families by how good you are, how you try to form it, how you promote the concept, and how you actually have it yourself. There is a system in place where you are honored and revered. So just like unfortunately you get some brothers and sisters where if they become street, they're revered by that, and they have a code of conduct not to talk to the police and not to do this or to do that. That's like a kind of like anti underbelly way of living that they have rewards for, and they revere and they value. The idea is to actually place that kind of concept of things you value that's consistent and that people just have by osmosis in the areas that we most value, i.e. black families, black economics, and black health. And that's what this podcast is about.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the problem we have. So one of the problems we have is this works in America as well, but also in the UK, is if I ever was to go and start talking about certain issues that black people go through, there's this concept that racism is over, or we're in a good place, or that's not an issue anymore. So one of the ways to counter that is to ask a question: what percentage of the UK black men are mentally conquered? So this is important because this is gonna. So we give the option. This is like a kind of social experiment, right? That's 99%, 80%, 40%, 20%. And we are way between 99 and 8% of black men are mentally conquered, meaning they are not synchronizing any kind of activity that's consistently going to help black people progress, and they're very inclusive and very fun to give away ideas, ownership, and wealth to other communities, and also quite harsh towards black people and not as harsh towards others, right? So this is what we are concluding as mentally conquered. The reason why this conversation is important is because if we can get black men to admit that 99% or 80% of black men in the UK are actually mentally conquered, then that might actually force them to say, well, if we are, what is to be done about it? And as soon as that question is asked, we go black betterment, the lifestyle black betterment. And that way, that kind of concept is more appealing than just standing to people and saying, do good stuff. It's kind of like marketing where someone says, do you have bad breath? If you do, here's the solution, breath spray or whatever it is. I don't know. Right? Mm-hmm. So that's the approach we're doing in many things. But the thing is, a lot of you brothers are quite new here, but we've got this is like a 100-page document of words, symbols, concepts, rule sets, templates that we use to try to help educate black people into being constructive. And there's certain words that are more constructively used, so it minimizes anxiety whenever we try to find solutions for these kind of problems that you mentioned. So you said something very important, brother Jeff, as in like, what is to be done? What is to be done about the disharmony? And we invite the sisters as well, those who are listening in future shows or to set up, for us to have that conversation where we sit down and we try to pin down what is actually wrong. One thing I have done, and this might cause much shock, is I've generally listened to the complaints of sisters. And don't get me wrong, brothers have complaints, but I'm saying that if we want to have like a masculine approach to community, as in leadership and management, we have to always start with what the men can do first, and then once that requires men listening to women. Then once we've achieved those complaints, then we can go, okay, now we've done that. The next step is, let's see what the men are saying. So we start with fixing men first, and then when women observe men fixing themselves, the conversation makes it much more easier to have. Just so you know, what tends to happen is black men tend to go straight to like easy wins, like hair. Like, oh, black women, their hair is this, and they get their hair this kind of way, that kind of way. And I'm not saying that that's right or wrong. I'm saying that that's like an easy kind of anxiety topic to go to when fixing families, having an economic base, creating institutions. This is more of a better start than going straight for, well, black women wear this kind of hairstyle and this kind of stuff. So yeah, a lot going on. But I'm glad that we're joined by Brother Leon and Brother Jeff. And anyone else who's listening, anytime, feel free to jump in. But the idea is we're going to use this space to find solutions. And it might be slow at first, but there is much science here. There's much social science. There's much research going into to fix this issue of black inadequacies, you see, and to form solidarity and consistency in a lifestyle that allows black people to be self-efficient when it comes to dealing with our day-to-day challenges. And that's what we're doing here. Any questions in the group, let us know. And by all means, brothers and sisters, Leon and Jeff, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. We've got half an hour left. We might end early if they're not really, but if there's any questions, anything you want to cover, anything of any nature, now is your time to ask, and we see if we can answer it for you while you're here.
Yeah. Do you think black man needs healing? I feel like, they're not ready healing yet. I feel like they aren't healed. Even black women, I feel like they're still not healing. I feel like it's because I'm starting to heal my progress in my healing journey, and I feel like it's absolutely beautiful to heal myself within, and I started to connect to my community more and start loving my people. And I in my journey, I started to connect to black people more and starting to go Black History events, talking to more black communities, buying more black businesses. This is my journey so far, my spiritual journey. I feel like my journey is so amazing to heal. I feel like black women and I feel like they're not ready yet. I feel like they're sick.
Well, here's what it's interesting because I actually downloaded the video, and I'll try to segue into what you're saying. This is I'm just going to. It was on what's his name? That guy's show. What number? 202 something. There we go. So let's listen to this.
More serious. No, we're moving on, Ernest. You've had your say. You've called us all a bunch of uncompassionate, far-right lunatics, which I think is probably enough for one segment. Let me switch gears now to a more serious topic, but an interesting one. Band-Aid has been accused of perpetuating a white saviour narrative after Ed Sheeran told his followers he didn't approve of his vocals being used on the 40th anniversary re-release of Do They Know It's Christmas. Posting to Instagram, Sheeran shared a statement by Ghanaian-British musician Fuse ODG, who accused the campaign of dehumanizing Africans and destroying our pride and identity in the name of charity. And I'm delighted to say that Fuse ODG joins me now. Fuse, welcome to Uncensored. Great to have you.
Thank you for having me.
It's a really interesting story, this. When I first read what Ed had said, I thought, hang on, come on. You can't attack Bob Geldof, Band-Aid, the whole thing, Live Aid. It was so fantastic. It did so much good 40 years ago. Why go after it? Then I read what you'd said, on which this is what Ed based his response on. And it did make me just stop and think. If I was currently living in Africa, would I want this narrative to keep playing out, given how thriving and successful large parts of the African continent have become? And I think that's really the point you were making, but I don't want to put words in your mouth.
Right. Yeah, no, definitely. Well, first of all, I think it's very important that, to recognize that the British public are a nation of givers. And, 1984, when the crisis started, the famine, it needed immediate attention. So I understand the sentiment behind helping that crisis. And in the short term, it made a lot of sense. There was great intentions behind it. There's a lot of efforts from the artist, Sir Geldof and the team. There was the intention to help something immediately. The perspective that I'm coming from is that fast forward 40 years later, right? I think there's a way to execute things, because in the midst of this act of kindness trying to solve a short-term crisis, we've created another crisis, which is the identity crisis, where for me, growing up in the UK, these kind of images really affected me to the point where I disconnected with being African. I was not proud of being African. And it's because of these kind of images that feeds, you know, it just feeds a negative perception of the continent. And I just feel like, you know, there's a way to solve a crisis without having to put down the people. So I'm just saying we just need a different model to allow us to solve a crisis, but still maintaining the dignity of the people. Because for me, I fall back in love with myself because I went back to Ghana, and I just want that child in school to just be themselves, and for other people to also see them as equal and just respect them. But I feel like images like you know what Band-Aid put out, it really, really destroys our collective pride and identity, and that's all I'm saying.
You know what? You really did make me think. Now, Esther, you are also of Ghanaian heritage.
Yeah.
What's your response to that?
No, I totally agree. I mean, I was actually in Accra growing up when the 2004 single came out. And I remember me and my relatives were just like, what is this? I mean, I don't think you need to have children covered in flies or mud or take as sort of really quite dehumanizing pictures of people to appeal.
So what's interesting about this is this system in the middle is usually quite strong supporting of much of the European narrative, unfortunately. But in this particular instance, she's very synchronized with not being best pleased with a song that keeps coming out every Christmas, showing Africa as a place of poverty and asking for money, and the visuals of children flies on them. Right?
It's ridiculous.
So, but it's interesting because the two Europeans don't get it. They're like, but the three people of African descent, they understand this, right? But the two Europeans, they're confused by this. They don't understand because the three to the right understand a form of how self-hatred can happen. The two to the left, they have no idea the concept of actually hating what you see, right? So they're gonna always shoot down these concepts that we're trying to do you some favors, and also that dynamics of someone doing for you, the European savior complex, whatever that is. That's all going on. So it's interesting that the system in the middle, who usually supports the two to the right, or to the left, sorry, is now actually agreeing because I suspect she has a lived experience.
It's people's sense of charity. It's not necessary. I've never seen a charity ad in the UK where you have like sort of British children going up chimneys with missing teeth.
All right, but hang on one second. All right, hang on. I'm going to jump in.
Which made a good point. As she says, in Europe, we don't see the same kind of ads towards European poverty. So why is it that strategy is used for Africa?
Because I remember watching the original, Michael Burke, wasn't it? The original BBC report. And it was unbelievably powerful. And there was a genuine, absolute crisis going on in Ethiopia. Right? With so many children just literally dying of starvation. And he was so angered by what he saw that visceral rage came out through the screen. He was able to control it, but you could see it and feel it. And Bob Geldof felt it, and he felt, we are going to do something about these kids, as you said, Fuse, in the short term. So I think there's probably two different issues here, right?
There is.
Because on one level, I totally agreed with what they did at the time. On another level, I can understand why 4 decades later, in a far more prosperous Africa than there was then, I can understand why you feel the way you do.
There are better ways of raising money.
No, there is. It's possible to raise money without having to put those kind of images out. But I understand at the time, they had to put those kind of images in order for the public.
It did shock the world.
To shock the world. But I just feel like 40 years later, to still position Africa as a place of pity, it's just not it's not constructive.
Well, what about the response from Bob Geldof? He said, no abstract theory, regardless of how sincerely held, should impede or distract from that hideous, concrete, real-world reality. There are 600 million hungry people in the world. 300 million are in Africa. We wish it were other, but it is not. We can help some of them. That's what we'll continue to do. Does he have a point, Fuse? I mean, if half the world's hungriest people still live in Africa, what is wrong with him continuing to prick the conscience of prosperous people outside of Africa to help?
Just to put into context, 300 million people, there's 1.4 billion people in Africa, right? My issue is that there's a way that we can still help people without having to take away their pride and dignity. There's 95.5 million people that can't afford a proper meal in Europe. That's 1 in 9 versus 1 in 10 in Africa.
Right.
But somehow, we're able to help and you know, bring these initiatives to help these people without having to destroy their pride and identity. And also, another issue that, you know, I like to point out is that, yes, there was a crisis happening and they needed, you know, an immediate solution to it. But it branded the whole of the continent as a place of famine and war and poverty and death. But it was just a crisis in one country. And I always give the example of, you know, Ukraine being in crisis and all.
So we're here because the brother Leon said about, you know, healing and you know, being a good process, and we're highlighting what has caused many brothers and sisters to need healing, and how the non-black people, the non-African people, won't really get it. I'm not going to play the rest of the video, but the 2 Europeans that left, they don't get it, and they disparage it a lot. But the 3 who don't agree with anything politically are in agreement on this concept. And I think part of the healing process is to, I would say, is to get away from non-black people and try to create places where black people go to heal. And there's some digital thing. There's some easy exercise you can do. I recommend, if you use WhatsApp or these kind of apps or Telegram, you would get all your family who are black or you constructed black people in a group, and make groups that are based upon posting positive black stuff, constructive black things, and maybe make one group for economics, one group for self-esteem building, one group for health or whatever. And just invite as many constructive black people as possible in these groups where they can share information. So you create a digital community yourselves where when you tap into certain things, you're always going to get positive things. Unfortunately, by living in the world, by being on social media, you'll be subjected to many stories or algorithms that might trigger, you know, some kind of back anxiety. And even though you're trying to explain certain things, non-black people won't understand or care. So you want to create your own kind of safe havens and you know, your own place to go where you actually get the information you need. When we look at, if we look at, we break down the triple triumph. We want black families, black economics, and black health. Black health means train, exercise, regular eat healthy, plant-based diet with a low sodium and sugar, drink plenty of water, and watch your stress levels. That stress levels meaning that we're dealing with health as a physical and mental phenomenon. So you want to live and eat well, but you also want to have your mind in good order, and self-love is a part of that. Having a self-love will make you have a better black health, you see. So that's definitely something we do. And if you're on social media, Instagram, these kinds of things, maybe make a positive version account. I think with Instagram, these things, you can have more than one account. And maybe if that positive version of your account just follow constructive black stories, constructive self-esteem boosting kind of stories. What it allows you to do is you can log into your other account when you just want to see the world and what's going on. But you can always log into a specially made self-esteem building page where the majority of things you're seeing is always constructive and pushes you towards doing constructive things. This is why we recommend.
Definitely. Because I do a lot of spiritual awakening and black culture, black history. I talk about, you know, meditating, healing, ancestry, connected to my ancestral, loving myself, know who I am. So I'm kind of like this destruction as well. So I'm kind of like that as well in my journey.
Excellent. That's good. And did you want to say something, brother Jeff?
Yeah, I was just saying this is a good platform. Like I said, I just found it, and I will be checking back in. I don't know how often do you do these, but
so we do it so UK time for every Friday 10 p.m. So it will be all the time. And how it works is I find a topic or someone finds a topic, we discuss it, and people can jump in and meantime I might have some kind of homework, or others have homework where we're going to try to bring something back, like a campaign. So for example, this was a campaign that I had to work on. We haven't launched it yet. Let me show you if I can find it. Here it is. So this was the Black Economics Is. So what we're showing is a black business owner, his family, and his product, or her product, depending. And that way we're showing that the black economic is black family, black ownership, and black patronage. So, and then black people supporting that. So within an image, you see that there's the family, the owner, and the product, and the slogan and the connection. So we're training black people that this is black economics. You see?
Okay, that's good.
So, but this would be like a homework that we gave ourselves of how can we promote that in the social media settings, and then we put. But just to answer your question, every Friday 10 p.m. It'd be good if you came back. You're always welcome. Sometimes, if you ever wanted to, you could actually influence the shows we do. We have I don't know if you found us on Instagram. We have an Instagram page called Black Betterment. It's not popular at all, really, but it's there. We're going to try to get it more popular. But it's let me see if I can put the link in again. If I can find it, there it is. Black Betterment Building is the Instagram page. And if you ever wanted to, like, you can always do the intro yourself in the sense of if you wanted to cover a topic and talk on it, we let people open topics or discuss topics for half an hour, 15 minutes, whatever it is, if they want to. But maybe like more seasoned speakers want to do that. Maybe other people, they don't necessarily want to speak, but they want us to cover. Can you cover like what's going on in this area or this area? Then we'll cover it, and then we're trying to find solutions. And one of the important things is to find ways of interacting and ways of so for example, the word woke was a word that was used when black people are aware of things they need to be aware of. They're aware of history, they're aware of what health, they're aware of economics, whatever it is, they're aware of these, and they use the term woke. And what's happened, the LGBT community have taken this word woke and they've used it to describe trying to get transgendered lesbians and black people into representation, right? And then what's happened, the white and the Europeans, they've then taken this word woke and then branded it as an evil word or as a word that means mischief or inclusivity at the behest and damage of white men or whatever. So they've demonized it. But that was all a campaign. That was a campaign that they trained and they used social media to spread to get that. Well, we're going to do the same with countering those kind of things where it's like we come up with Black Betterment itself is branding. Malengo is branding. All the words you see in here, they've all been used for particular things to tackle. So, for example, we one thing we're very about black families. So whenever we see people disparage the importance of black families, we have to have a counter narrative. So connecting black families to black economics, like Brother Umar does, that's very important. That's a very good strategy there, right? Also, using certain terms like, they'll say love has no color. We'll say, well, black love has a color, it's black, right? And then we'll say that any ideology that doesn't work, that doesn't work for black people but helps non-black people, you could call it white wealth ideology, right? So when they say love has no color, we can say that's white wealth ideology because that ideology is going to make white people richer, right? So it's like creating that kind of full of narrative to tackle, because I've been in so many debates where a black person has got the energy, they're going to say something, but because they haven't pre-trained for a debate or something, someone else has said something and shut them down and make them think, right? And unfortunately, I see that so many times. That's why, for example, if we look at this, I'll demonstrate like through a video we have here. Let's see that one here, the one we just this one. So the question was asked here. This is a good one. The question was asked here, right?
Do you believe you can represent the black community, be a community leader, and you can have a white partner?
So that's a very important question, because what happens is the way I approach this is by saying, unfortunately, because black men haven't recovered from being conquered by white men, that's why the most important question you can have in our community is your very echelon leaders, should they have to be required to be black women? And obviously, because we've been conquered, the answer for these people would be no. But if you went to an Asian community, a Jewish community, or any other community, of course, why would we marry anyone else? Like, how do you create synergy? How do you create generational wealth? How do you create your own people if you're not marrying your people? Right?
Exactly.
Because we've been thoroughly conquered, this is the response.
Yes.
Do you think you can also you can speak?
Do you know
can
why?
Speak black and sleep white?
I'll tell you
Tell
why.
me why.
Because your relationship can be a representation of you educating and creating a link.
So when someone says that black people are educating white people on what racism is and stuff, this is where we give you the tools to say, no. white people have mastered the art of racism. The reason why black people exist as a topic or a demographic is because of the consistency of white supremacy, right? So black people are not going to teach white people anything about racism. If anything, white people are going to teach black people about racism, but they won't, because that's how racism works, right? See, we honestly think that we have all the knowledge on what racism is, right? But the fact is, we're not as collectively connected when it comes to economics, family building, ownership as other people groups. So that means we clearly don't understand what racism is, right? And that's why we have things like this. Let's play it when we've got a nice quote in the background. Hold on. Let's trying to figure out what this is self. Here we go. Things like this.
Why is it that we want to sleep with them and live with them and roll with them? Why is it we just forget all of the things that they have done to our grandparents and our great-grandparents, and the things they're doing to us right now, and the things they're going to do to us in the future? See, why do we do that, you see? Why do we want hair like them? Why do we want noses like them? Why do we want skin color like them? Why do we want to talk like them and walk like them and be like them after they have done all of this kind of stuff to us as a people? Why do we love them more than we love ourselves?
And then if we go to the next gentleman jumping in, this brother, so obviously this brother has his own alternative reasons why he's saying what he's saying, but let's see what he's saying.
I just feel like nobody ever asks Huey Newton or Malcolm X or Bob Marley.
So what people is, they go to the offspring and then they ignore the concept. Here's the concept we're saying. Regardless of the offspring of any union, we're saying the members of a community. So if you're a member of the black community, you have to marry. We strongly recommend you marry a black woman or the black equivalent of the sex, especially if you are in leadership roles. This is like you become a walking billboard of what black love is, you know. And without any kind of rules and regulations, you're going to have 8 men go to an award ceremony for like the most pro-black of all time, and all 8 men will have 8 white wives, and that's what happens. Yeah. What we're if we demonstrate here, let me give you an example here before we go. This whoops, daisy, where's that finger? This is something that we've done in the UK, but I can do one. I can do one in America, and I'll get the same results. But this is in the UK. Let me just 100. So, also see here we have contemporary love and traditional love. So traditional love is black love. Contemporary love is non-black love, and obviously universal love with Europeans, whatever. Also, this is a good case study as well. You see here, this is a black Aboriginal from Australia. This is a white Aboriginal, and what we're finding is this woman, her great-great-granddad identified as an Aboriginal. She's getting all the land and the wealth, while this woman can't get any kind of money set aside for the alcoholism and the lack of property that goes on in the Aboriginal community in America, in Australia. So we can look at community groups outside to see how this thing works. Also, this is what I was going to show you. So this is the UK political system, and you'll find that every single black man, regardless of whether they are conservative or they are Labour in the UK, are married to a European woman. And what you find is even the man who is homosexual, he will marry the European man. You see, so what we're seeing, there is not one UK politician of a male background who is married to a black woman, more or less a non-white woman, right? So, but no, this is not even a topic. This is very normal, I guess, right? And then when we start looking at football, this is the soccer they call it in America, right? We look at in the 90s and this thing in the way. So in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, this was all the players who played for the England national team and all their wives, right? So we found 21 who were married Europeans, and only 5 married black people. Big up them. But then today, there's even more. There's 39 found so far, and only 7 have married black. So we're seeing that it's a trend, right? And then obviously those black men had children, those children of biracial backgrounds, they themselves around Europeans. So any kind of wealth that will be generated will then go in. And before we go, we'll just show what we showed last week when it comes to the brother Quincy Jones and that. Unfortunately, brother Quincy Jones is one of the most prolific producers out. He married 5 European women, and with his children, they've all married European people, and they've all recently inherited 80 million. So these are the tools we use to demonstrate. And remember the words we're saying, collectively inadequate, you see? And if you use these terms as in collectively inadequate, or the double dilemma, which talks about being disorganized and despised, I know it sounds very harsh and strong at certain points, but what you want to do is you want to say something, everyone keep quiet, and then they go, yeah, maybe we need to do something about it. That's your best strategy, yeah? And the constant facts that you keep filtering through, and the fact that black people don't own very little, regardless. If you look at America and South Africa, it's a good case study. So America is a place where black people are the minority, and they're still going through hell. And in South Africa, they're the majority, and they're still going through hell. And that's because the white supremacy program is run in both those countries. Matter of fact, South Africa copied it from America, right? And America inherited it from the UK. So it's all there, right? So this is what it is. But family, we're at the last time. So if there's any last things you guys would like to say, but it'll be good if you join us also next week at 10 p.m. Friday. And if you want to influence the show, you can, but tell us what topic you want to cover in Instagram or any kind of point. But any last words you'd like to say before we go, Brother Leon and Brother Jeff?
No, I just love to be part of, you know, the solution. I'm happy to keep going with you, and I'm happy to be the voice, and I'm happy to change the world.
Good stuff. And Brother Jeff?
Yeah, I agree, man. You know, I think what you're doing is good, and like I said, we put our heads together and we can address these ideas, and you know, and like I say, eventually come to a solution. I don't really jump on a lot of panels and things of that nature, and there's so much toxicity and nonsense out there. But when I saw the title and looked at it, like, okay, talking about some building and bettering the betterment of our black communities and especially our families. And you know, I like that you said that. And it's like over here in America, we had this issue with our young black males and, you know, and the fathers and stuff like that. And it doesn't get talked about, you know. So I'm like looking forward to more shows. So, you know.
I'm glad you said that, Brother Jeff. So just so the listeners understand that this show is for black people and we are all part of it. And I'm merely the referee and I'm helping with the code of conduct and stuff. But this is for all of us. And hopefully we can influence others to have this approach to, as in being solution-based and constructive. And you're all welcome. But we want to give Brother Jeff and Brother Leon a thanks for jumping in. We also want to big up Brother Dominic and Sister She Reigns for the contributions. Welcome, Brother Blockbuster, and everyone who listens at Future Time. It's a very small show, but it will grow. But it's more quality than quantity at the moment. But you guys are part of the innovation community that's going to come up with the ideas that the others are going to follow, and then they're going to influence others, and then it's going to start here. So well done to everyone. But to everyone else, Black Batman to all, and to Black Batman to everyone that listens, and I hope you have a constructive Batman week. See you guys, and we'll tune in next week. Thank you very much.
Peace, brother.
There you go.